Tonight I'm headed to a dinner party in downtown San Francisco. It's going to be a very intimate affair, outdoors with 16 people, in a dumpster. This should be interesting. Our host for the evening is Josh Troyhat, who designed these events as part of his master's thesis to try to start a conversation about food waste.
The Salvage Supperclub is about inspiring and empowering people to make the most of the edible food in their lives. There's untapped potential in their food that, for some reason, not to their own fault, is going to waste. What we do is host multi-course dining experiences where every course is made out of food that would commonly go to waste. It's prepared by chefs who really know what they're doing. It's food that people could make on their own, oftentimes.
Proceeds from these dinner parties go to organizations that are feeding people in need with food that would have otherwise gone to waste.
It seems strange to me that we have people who can't always put a square meal on their table and we're throwing away 40% of our food supply. About 62.5 million tons of food is wasted annually in the US. About 16% of that is at the farm, so that's food that doesn't pass cosmetic standards. And then the other 84% is food waste that's going to landfill. So that's in the food supply. It's been harvested, but then somewhere, either at the consumer's home, at a restaurant, at a grocery store, food that's not getting eaten.
What is ugly food?
It doesn't look the way the retailer or the distributor or the consumer needs or wants it to, and so it's not worth investing the time to harvest it and put it into the food supply because they don't think somebody's going to buy it. There's a spectrum that exists, which I call the spectrum of desirability. At one end of that spectrum is like the perfect shiny apples, and at the other end of that spectrum is something that you and I would not consider to be edible. And most people tend to focus and eat at the very front end. But in reality, the majority of that spectrum is edible.
To prepare for tonight's event, Chef Pesha Perlsweig visited various markets to see what ingredients she could transform into a 6-course dinner.
She finds ingredients that are going to go to waste, and then she turns it into these intricate, amazing, interesting dishes that people love.
This is Imperfect Produce. It's a business that specializes in selling imperfect or ugly fruits and vegetables that might otherwise be thrown away.
So it's things like sweet potatoes that might have been a little bit broken, maybe the pluot or the plum is a little too small, and I'm trying to take those ingredients and turn it into something palatable and really wonderful. This kale, for instance, this one at the top actually looks kind of pretty, but if you go down, you'll see that there's some yellowing, there's some spotting, and it's really going limp. I'm gonna probably pickle them in a little bit of this citrus, and I'm gonna make a roll out of it.
We're about to serve the next course, which is wilted kale rolls. And they are stuffed with sweet potatoes and chickpeas, as well as a romesco sauce, but instead of tomatoes, I decided to use stone fruit.
In front of you, you have a ratatouille that has been comprised out of summer squash from our friends at Surplus, and tomatoes from our friends at Imperfect, and eggplant from our friends at Buy Right. It has been cooked down with garlic and spent red wine. You have a banana donut. Then you have 3 different types of ice creams. One actually is a sorbet. It's a pineapple sorbet. Thank you.
Trying all of this delicious food made from what the industry considers trash really blew me away. It made me think about how much food waste I produce and our society's obsession with cosmetic perfection. Do you think that this experience has inspired you to think differently about your own food consumption and waste?
Absolutely, most certainly. You know, before this evening, I think just like creature of habit, you know, so many of it doesn't look good, and throw it away, you know, or toss it away. But after tonight and seeing what chefs can do or just home cooks can do, great experience.
Just think for 1 minute when you have something like, is there a reason that I don't eat this, or do I just throw it away because I've always thrown it away? Somewhere around 218 billion. That's the economic impact of that food. It's a lot of money's worth of food that is not getting eaten, that we are investing in growing and transporting and distributing, and then is ending up in a landfill. There are huge consequences to the current system.
What do you hope for the future of this movement or the issue of food waste?
A food system where we don't have people who are struggling to get a square meal. That's an aspiration that we should constantly fight for, because everybody needs to eat. My hope is that in my lifetime, I will see that that changes.
Check out this next episode to see how this major U.S. city is striving to become zero waste.
When I started at Recology 23 years ago, the recycling rate was around 38%. Today, we've more than doubled that.
So far, San Francisco has diverted 80% of its waste away from landfills, and its success has been getting global attention. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more Seeker stories.